2022 북극 협력 주간에 참석해 주신 내빈 여러분께 잠시 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 잠시 후 14시부터 2022 북극 협력 주간 개막식이 시작될 예정입니다.
Shortly, we will begin the Arctic Partnership Week from 2 p.m. Please take a seat. This event features English simultaneous interpretation, so please wear your headset and turn to channel 1 for Korean and channel 2 for English. For our online participants, please access the link with your preferred language. And please turn off your mobile phones or put it in vibration mode to prevent disruptions to our meeting. And please check whether the notifications are turned off. And to prevent the spread of coronavirus, please wear your mask at all times. We will begin our opening ceremony shortly.
네, 다시 한번 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 잠시 후 2022
Shortly, the opening ceremony of the 2022 Arctic Partnership Week will begin. This event features simultaneous interpretation for English, so if you need interpretation, please wear your receivers and turn to channel 1 for Korean and channel 2 for English. For those of you joining via online, please access the link which has your preferred language. And for the offline participants, I would like to ask you to turn off your mobile phones or put it in vibration mode, and please check whether your notifications are turned off. And to prevent the spread of coronavirus, please wear your mask indoors. And in our opening ceremony, we will have a Polar Vision Declaration ceremony. And in the ceremony, we will shout out our vision. And I will start by the ends of the earth, where our dreams are. And you will say for to being a leader country, and please raise your right hand like I did and shout it out with me. You will say for the leading country, and I will repeat this guidance afterwards once again. So we will begin our ceremony at 2 p.m.
아, 그럴까요? 그러면 제가 연습 삼아 한번 구호를 외쳐볼게요.
We will practice the slogan. If I shout out the first part of the vision, you say for the leading country. At the end of the That's right.
네, 잠시 후 14시부터 2022
We will start the opening ceremony from 2 p.m. After the distinguished guests enter the event hall, we will start the ceremony.
네, 지금
Mr. Cho Seung-wan of Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries and distinguished guests are entering the room. Please welcome them with a round of applause. Thank you all for attending this meeting. Please welcome them with a round of applause. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Park Cha-kyu, the moderator for this opening ceremony. We will now begin the opening ceremony of 2022 Arctic Partnership Week, which is a representative Arctic Forum of Korea. I would like to introduce the distinguished guests for today. As I introduce each guest, please welcome them with a clap. First, Anu Frederickson, Executive Director of Arctic Frontier. Executive Director Ms. Frederickson from the Arctic Economic Council. Next, Vice Mayor of Busan City, our host city for today. President Do Dok-ki of Korea Maritime University. President Chang Young-soo of Pugyong University. President Pu Gu-uk of Yongsan University. President Lee Hyung-chol from Korean Register. Executive Director Bae Jae-han of Kukje Daily News. And President Lim Byung-gu of the Korean Port Agency. I will continue on with the introduction. We also have President Kang Sung-ho of the Polar Research Institute, our hosting agency. And also President Kim Jong-dok from the Korea Maritime Institute, a co-host and host agency. And Ambassador Hong Young-gi from Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Lastly, Mr. Cho Seung-wan from the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries. We also have other guests with us today, but we cannot introduce every one of them due to time constraints. We ask for your understanding. This year marks the 7th Arctic Partnership Week, which is hosted by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries and KMI and Polar Research Institute. The 2022 Partnership Week, which is held under the theme Pursuing New Partnership for the Global Arctic, will begin today and go on for 5 days and has 14 sessions and 11 side events, and I would like to ask for your continued interest and support throughout the events. Then, as a first step, you will see a video that shows the efforts and achievements of Korea's polar activities.
This is code red. The nation and the world are in peril.
This is a massive wake-up call, saying that the impacts of climate change are now widespread and severe.
at a point where we are approaching the end game.
아무도 몰랐던 이상 고온 현상의 원인은 국내 연구진이 세계 최초로 발견했습니다.
얼음 결합 단백질의 특성이 밝혀졌습니다.
한국이 남극의 빈공 붕괴 지역 탐사에
지방의 얼음에서 일어나는 화학 반응이 지구 온난화 해결의 실마리가 될 수 있다는 연구 결과가 나왔습니다.
지연구소는 아라운호로 남극권에 새로운 타입의 맹물이 분포한다는 사실을 세계 최초로 발견하고 질란디아 남극 맹물로 이름 붙였다고 밝혔습니다.
대한민국은 공개를 통해서 세계를 선도하는 최고로 획득 완료, 획득 완료.
Thank you. Humanity's survival is threatened, and the polar regions hold our future. This video showed the history of our efforts and the passion that Korea showed in this field. We support the bold steps that Korea is making into the uncharted territories and the leap into becoming a leading polar country. Now, Minister Cho Seung-wan will deliver the opening speech. In his opening speech, he will discuss the first master plan of promoting polar activities and also some strategies behind it. Please welcome him with a round of applause. First, I would like to apologize because this is going to be a very long speech, and as the moderator said, I will talk about the details and meaning behind this master plan, so it may take a little bit longer. Distinguished guests, nice to meet you. I am Cho Seung-wan, Minister of Oceans and Fisheries. I would like to welcome you all to the 7th 2022 Arctic Partnership Week. Especially, I would like to thank those of you who participated despite your busy schedule. Executive Director Anu Frederickson of the Arctic Frontier, Executive Director Ms. Frederickson of the Arctic Economic Council, Vice Mayor Lee Sung-kwon of Busan City, President Do Deok-hee of Korea Maritime University, President Chang Yong-soo, President Fu Gu-wook, and Ambassador Hong Young-gi from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and President Lee Yong-chol of Korean Register, and Executive Director Bae Jae-han of Kukje Daily News. Welcome. And I would also like to thank Henry Burgess, the President of International Arctic Science Committee, who will deliver his keynote speech via video, and also President Ban Ki-moon of GGGI, and President Olafur Grimson of the Arctic Circle, and Executive Director Kim Holman, who will also deliver remarks via video. Furthermore, I would also like to thank President Kim Jong-duk of Korea Maritime Institute and President Kang Sung-ho of Polar Research Institute who helped host this event. Ladies and gentlemen, 2022 is a meaningful year for Korea's journey to the polar areas. This year marks the 20th year from which we built Arctic's Dasan Station, and also the long-awaited research icebreaker was starting to be built from this year, April. And also last November, we established the first master plan for promotion of polar activities as the first country in the world that covers both Antarctic and Arctic. Now, to us, the polar regions are not the ends of the Earth, but rather the doorstep to a new world such as the space and deep sea. The extreme cold and isolated environment in the polar areas are very similar to the space, and bacteria found in Antarctic in 2017 made us hope that life could exist in outer space outside Earth. Now we are past the era of climate change. We are living in an era of climate crisis. The polar regions are the most closest witnesses to climate change. The time frame where the average temperature was the highest for the past 100 years was the most recent trailing 20 years, and the hottest 7 years were also the most recent 7 years. As the glaciers melt fast due to global warming in the Antarctic and Arctic areas, it is resulting in abnormal heat waves and cold waves, and the flood damages from rising sea levels is increasing in their intensity and their frequency. However, on the other hand, polar areas hold a lot of potential and added values. If the North Pole route is developed, then a new global logistics chain that connects Europe and Asia will be unveiled, and commercial fishing will also be made feasible by 2045 near the Arctic Sea. And by leveraging biotechnologies and other communication technologies in the extreme cold region, we will also be able to lead the industry for the polar areas. Ladies and gentlemen, we built the King Sejong Station in the Antarctic in 1988, which marked the start of our journey towards the polar areas. And in 2009, we built ship Araon, which is an icebreaker research ship. And in 2002, we built the Dasan Station, which enabled us to independently research the Arctic and the Antarctic. Compared to other leaders in this field, Korea was late about 30 years. However, thanks to the good investment of our country and the passion and commitment of our scientists who never gave up, even in extreme circumstances, we are now delivering first-of-the-world researched results. Furthermore, as an observer country of the Arctic Council, we are expanding our influence and also are making efforts to lead the agenda in the Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting and are improving our international standing as a reliable partner of polar governance. Today, I will talk about the efforts that we made for the last 40 years regarding infrastructure in the polar areas and our research achievements and how we are beginning the new challenge and new adventure to our polar areas through our master plan for the promotion of polar activities. The vision of this master plan is at the end of the Earth, we dream of the future. And to achieve this, we have fleshed out 5 concrete strategies. First, we will expand the exploration for the uncharted territory in the polar regions. To begin with, we will build a 15,000-ton icebreaker researcher ship that has top-class icebreaking capacity so that we can observe sea ice in more detail and also make inroads to the high-latitude seas so that we can become the first in Asia to lead joint international research efforts in the high-latitude seas, including the North Pole. And on the Antarctic side, we will build an inland station so that we can attempt to drill 3,000 meters deep to extract the deep glaciers that holds the air of 1 million years ago so that we can reveal the secrets of the space and other life. Second, we will lead the solution efforts of climate change. We will observe the Arctic climate changes and see how they affect our 4 seasons. Also, we will expand our research scope from the previous glaciers of the Antarctic to whole of Antarctic so that we can predict the rising sea levels until year 2100. Thirdly, we will establish the foundation for the polar industries. For example, we will develop eco-friendly ice-breaking container ship and also sailing technology so that we can become more competitive in this field. Next, we will develop construction technologies and communication technologies and unmanned vehicle technologies that can withstand the extreme cold in those regions so that we can go into space and deep sea. We will protect the fishery resources in the Arctic Sea, but also enable sustainable fishing in the Arctic seas. We will also utilize the biological resources in the polar areas to develop antibiotics and other drugs and enable pharmaceutical breakthroughs. Next, we will form an ecosystem for multifaceted cooperation domestically and internationally. For example, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we will build a whole of government consultative body so that we can systematically respond to polar agendas. And we will also strengthen our cooperation with the Arctic countries and improve our standing as our observer country. Furthermore, we will build out this Arctic Partnership Week event so that we can become one of the 3 major Arctic forums, including Norway's Arctic Frontier and Iceland's Arctic Circle. Lastly, we will strengthen our communication around our polar activities. For example, we have a commercial center that will be built in 2023 that recreates the polar environment, and also we will share this with the private sector so that they can also capitalize on and bolster their research activities on polar areas. Furthermore, we will improve our education for our next generation on this polar topic and nurture professional talents. And to help make the topic of polar regions more familiar to the people, we will hold more festivals so that citizens can participate. Distinguished guests, while the polar areas are at the 2 ends of our Earth, it is also the starting step and doorstep towards infinite space and also the surface of the moon, which is 380,000 kilometers away from us. We will remember the sacrifice and courage of the people who explored the polar regions ahead of us, and now armed with cutting-edge technology, we will find the new key of hope to the future. Distinguished guests, I have shared some details around our master plan for promoting polar activities. In sum, Korea will lead international research efforts, including the next generation icebreaker research ship, and propose solutions to climate change, and also envision a future where we lead industries of the polar regions. This government will do its best to give a better future for our next generation. I ask for your support and interest as we head out towards this new adventure, and thank you all for participating in this event despite the cold weather. Thank you very much. Thank you, Minister, for your opening speech. This is a very important year for our polar adventure, and I hope that based on the master plan, Korea can become a leading country in this field. Another round of applause.
자, 다음으로는
Next, welcome remarks from Minister of Foreign Affairs Park Jin will be read by Ambassador for Polar Cooperation Hong Young-gi. Please welcome Ambassador Hong with a warm hand. Good afternoon. Minister Cho Seung-hwan of the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries, Vice Mayor for Economic Affairs Lee Seung-kwan of Busan Metropolitan Government, Executive Director Anu Frederickson of the Arctic Frontier, Executive Director Mads Frederickson of the Arctic Economic Council. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for participating in the Arctic Partnership Week 2022. In the areas of climate change, environment, security, safety, science, and sustainable development, the comprehensive understanding of all humankind hinges on the Arctic. The Arctic is also warming 4 times faster than the rest of the world. Rapid climate change and environmental pollution are tasks that require international cooperation and rulemaking beyond the Arctic states. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries have been hosting the APW annually since 2016. Arctic policies, science research, and industries have been covered through various Arctic issues discussed on this important platform of cooperation. Distinguished guests, in 2013, the ROK was granted the observer status at the Arctic Council. Since then, Korea has been active through Arctic-relevant multilateral and bilateral venues, contributing to environmental protection and sustainable development in the Arctic Circle. The research capabilities of Korean scientists and infrastructure, such as Icebreaker, are highly commended by Arctic states. In particular, this year bears significance in many respects in Korea's Arctic diplomacy. As Mr. Cho has mentioned in the opening remarks, in November, the first master plan for the promotion of polar activities was established and adopted, presenting a vision on polar activities. In April, we celebrated the 20th anniversary of the Arctic Dasan Station. In November, COP1 of the Central Arctic Ocean Fisheries Agreement was successfully hosted by Korea. Korea has participated in this agreement since the negotiation stage. To build a new fisheries regime in the Arctic, non-Arctic states and Arctic states together cooperated under a common initiative in this exemplary case. Ladies and gentlemen, external conditions have lately put the Arctic Council activities partly or temporarily on hold. On climate change in the Arctic Circle and other common tasks of the humankind, key Arctic and non-Arctic states need to engage in peaceful cooperation more than ever. At the 7th Arctic Partnership Week this year, we wish to share what Korea has achieved in its Arctic activities and the future vision. I hope that this APW will bolster cooperation with Arctic states and offer a platform for solidarity in addressing Arctic issues and sustainable development. On-site and online participants, welcome once again. I hope that we may all gather our wisdom for the future of the Arctic. Thank you. Yes, that was Ambassador for Polar Cooperation, Hong Young-gi. In step with the government's efforts to become a polar leader, MOFA pledges its warmest support and active participation.
Next, we will hear from Vice Mayor Lee Sung-kwon of our host city, Busan. Please welcome him with a round of applause. Good afternoon, everyone. I congratulate the opening of the 7th Arctic Partnership Week, and it is an honor to host this event and here at Busan, and would like to thank the ministries. I understand that this Partnership Week is the biggest of its kind in Korea. I would like to thank Minister Cho Seung-hwan and President Kang Sung-woo of Polar Research Institute and President Oh Deok-hee of Korea Maritime University and Executive Director of Arctic Council and President of Yongsan University and other excellencies who have participated in this event. Busan is located in a strategically important place for Arctic adventures. As Minister Cho has stated, the icebreaker research ship Araon was built here in Busan, and Busan is now developing as a hub for polar infrastructure, and we will make the best efforts to draw R&D talents and investment in this topic. And the importance of Arctic research grows, and following this trend, we are also trying to make better efforts and achievements in R&D. We will also form the Polar Ocean Future Forum that consists of various experts so that we can identify business areas that are in line with the Arctic policies of the government. And last August, we dispatched an exploration unit to the Arctic, expanding our cooperation there. Going forward, we will also continue to expand the civic engagement space in this field. The Arctic holds a lot of potential for opportunities and a better future. This event is held under the theme of pursuing a new partnership, the Global Arctic, and I hope that we can reinforce our cooperation in energy, economy, and culture to contribute to shared prosperity and also grow towards peace. I look forward to more cooperation between all of you and Busan City. Welcome to Busan City, and I hope you leave with good memories. Thank you.
네, 극지선도국을 위한 이
Thank you, Vice Mayor, for your welcoming remarks for our distinguished guests and participants here today.
And for congratulatory remarks, we have a very special guest. Director Anu Fredrickson of the Arctic Frontier is here with us on site. Please welcome Director Fredrickson with a big round of applause.
Minister, Vice Mayor, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Today, everything is on the move, and so is the Arctic. In this constantly moving landscape, Arctic Frontiers aims to be a catalyst for decision-making and network building. We do our work through mobilizing key voices from science, policy, business, and Arctic communities. We do this through bridging continents, generations, and communities. Therefore, I am especially pleased and honored to be here with you at the grand opening of the Arctic Partnership Week. Dear friends, in today's world, science is no longer automatically trusted by all. The ambition of knowledge-based development is being challenged. Through sharing of knowledge and resources with international partners, Arctic Frontiers wants to increase holistic understanding of the region. Our goal is to increase understanding of modern moving north. Our hope is to provide an inclusive arena to those who wish to engage and contribute to groundbreaking new knowledge. And our wish is to further inspire global collaboration serving the communities affected by change. Ladies and gentlemen, those who enjoy roaming the Arctic mountains like myself know the old wisdom. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. International collaboration is key when operating in the Arctic. Economic development of the region calls for international partnerships. Credible Arctic science knows no borders. Within science, collaboration and partnerships between Norwegian and Korean institutions provide a wonderful example of this. On behalf of Arctic Frontiers, I would like to congratulate the organizers of Arctic Partnership Week, and I would like to congratulate you all on the 20th anniversary of the establishment of Korea's first Arctic research station, Dasan, in Svalbard Archipelago in Norway, and for all your contributions to Arctic science. I wish you every success with the 2022 Arctic Partnership Week.
네, 극지 개발에 위
Thank you very much for laying a foundation for cooperation. You have thanked Korea for doing so. And last year you sent us a video, but this year we are so glad to have you with us on site.
직접 참석.
Next, we will hear congratulatory remarks from participants who are not able to attend themselves, but we're still happy to say hello. Chairman Grimson, President Ban Ki-moon, and Executive Director Kim Ho-man. Good afternoon, everyone. I congratulate the successful opening of 2022 Arctic Partnership Week, which is held under the theme Pursuing a New Partnership, the Global Arctic. While I am not able to be there with you today, I would like to still welcome all of you who have come to this forum of Arctic cooperation that transcends borders. 2022 is a meaningful year where Korea showed its achievement in polar activities and its vision for the future to the international community. It is also the 20th year from when we established our first Arctic Science Center and Station, and also a year where we announce and declare our vision for our adventure into the uncharted territories. This will help us to lead problem solving in climate change, and also as a leading country, we will also contribute to the sustainable development of the Arctic. Ladies and gentlemen, the Antarctic and Arctic are the closest witnesses to climate change. When I was the UN President for 10 years, I have said that climate change is a very important agenda for the people. I observed the changes myself and reported such changes to the people and said that we need to join hands and remain committed. And I also was very committed to this agenda. In 2007 November, which is my first year as a UN President, I visited the Antarctic and the Arctic 4 times after that. So I had 5 visits to the polar regions. Aside this, I also went to many places where I could observe the changes due to climate change. For example, Ever Change, Lake Chad, and Amazon River, New York, and Kalimantan, and also various forest areas, and in the Kivas in the South Pacific. I stood on the glaciers of the Arctic and Antarctic, and I said the glaciers are melting fast and the sea levels are rising quickly. We no longer have time to wait. We have to act right now and mobilize all of the efforts to stop climate change. We do not have a planet B other than our Earth to live in. This means that we also do not have a plan B. This is a task and a political and moral obligation that our generation needs to fulfill for our next generation and descendants. I said the government and the civic society have to join hands to stop climate change. As a result, after a 20-year-long effort, the climate agreement was adopted in Paris in 2015, December 10th. The International Panel on Climate Change, which consists of global scientists, has said that until 2050, the temperature rise has to be kept under 1.5 degrees Celsius. But according to the World Meteorological Office, WMO, it has said that as of last year, the temperature also already has risen by 1.1 degrees Celsius, which only gives us 0.4 degrees Celsius of leeway. This means that we have to achieve carbon neutrality until year 2050, and to achieve this goal, we have to exert all the necessary social and economic efforts that are required. This means that our daily lives has to change to an eco-friendly daily life. Ladies and gentlemen, the ever-changing Arctic environment requires stronger collaboration and solidarity among people and between countries. This global interest and through innovative partnership like this, we will be able to tackle the challenges that just keep coming. For stronger resilience and growth of the Arctic, Republic of Korea will play a leading role. Once again, I would like to congratulate the opening of the 2022 Arctic Partnership Week, and I hope through our discussions we can turn the response to climate crisis of the Arctic into a growth opportunity for sustainable growth and a better future. Thank you.
To deliver greetings from the Arctic Circle and the Arctic community to the Arctic Partnership Week and to all our friends in Korea. And thank you profoundly for the constructive cooperation and friendship that we have enjoyed over the years. But let me also congratulate you on the new partnership for the global Arctic, because indeed this northernmost part of our planet has in recent years become the global Arctic. And Korea, your research, your diplomatic efforts, your participation in the Arctic Circle assemblies and the historic Arctic Circle Forum in Korea have demonstrated strongly that the Arctic has indeed become the global Arctic. So we are looking forward to the continuation of our cooperation in the years and the decades to come. And let me also welcome all of you to the Arctic Circle Forum, which will take place in Tokyo in March of next year, and also to the Assembly in Iceland next October.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. It is an honor for me to congratulate you to the opening of the 2022 Arctic Partnership Week. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the Korean establishment of permanent research activities in Ny-Ålesund. The Dasan facility is a strong and outstanding contributor to the Ny-Ålesund Research Station in Svalbard. I have had the privilege of interacting with the Korean scientists through all these years, and as in any good partnership, this has been both stimulating and rewarding. The Korean partnerships in Svalbard are of paramount importance for enhancing Arctic science, also in a pan-Arctic perspective. Scientific interaction and exchange has been disrupted by the pandemic and during the last year by a horrific conflict in Europe. This has altered how we have performed science during the last years. There will also be long-lasting, maybe permanent, changes in how work in the Arctic can be done. Not only because of climate change or pandemics, we have yet to see all consequences of the ongoing conflict. In these difficult times, we particularly welcome the new membership of COPRI in the SciUS Consortium for Developing Observing Systems in Svalbard and the Arctic. This is another building block for enhanced cooperation between Norway and Korea. The theme of this year's Arctic Partnership Week, pursuing the new partnership for the global Arctic, is indeed timely. We need to strengthen the good partnerships we have established during the 20 years of Dasan. We need to look forwards and adapt to the new circumstances such that we can achieve mutual stimulation for better science and knowledge. Peaceful development of the Arctic with positive examples is how we can, indeed how we must, counter negative developments. Congratulations to the opening of the Arctic Partnership Week 2022. The Arctic Partnership Weeks are significant events that make an irrefutable difference in the global Arctic. Good luck with your work.
네, 세 분의 축사를 잘 들었습니다. 바쁘신 와중
Thank you for the welcoming remarks, and I would like to thank all the speakers for delivering their remarks despite their busy schedule.
북극 협력
Next up is the keynote speech of the 2022 Arctic Partnership Week. The speaker, Henry Burgess, is president of the International Arctic Science Committee, IASC, and chairs the Arctic Science Summit Week. The IASC was established in 1990 by the 8 Arctic states as a leading international science and research body in the Arctic region. Here is the keynote speech in video on the topic Global Arctic and Arctic Science Cooperation.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the opportunity to address your Arctic Partnership Week conference. My name is Henry Burgess. I am the head of the United Kingdom's Arctic Office and the president of the International Arctic Science Committee, otherwise known as IASC. The committee was founded in 1990 at a time of great geopolitical uncertainty, but also of hope. IASC is a non-governmental international scientific organization operating amongst its now 24 member countries. It works on a consensus basis to encourage and facilitate international cooperation in all aspects of Arctic research across all countries engaged in research and in all areas of the Arctic region. IASC is a connector, connecting scientists and other knowledge holders across international, disciplinary, and cultural boundaries, and connecting those who do research with those who apply the outcomes of research to create solutions to Arctic challenges. While the problems for Arctic research due to the COVID-19 pandemic in the last 2 years are starting to ease, the geopolitical situation that has arisen as a result of Russia's action in Ukraine has created further uncertainties for research in the Arctic. The situation is seriously affecting international scientific collaboration and the ability to carry out research and observations across vitally important areas of the Arctic. The impact on scientific conferences and events, travel and fieldwork, exchange programs and secondments, funding decisions, and especially around international research expeditions has been profound. The consequences are felt by national and international researchers and the indigenous peoples of the Arctic, many of whose lands, waterways, and communities cross national boundaries. Research in the Arctic, and in particular climate research, relies on international collaboration, access, and continuous monitoring and data sharing amongst all regions of the Arctic to understand and effectively respond to the climate crisis. The principles of scientific freedom, of research independence, and of peaceful international cooperation are vital for the researchers, indigenous peoples, and many others who are working together to understand and respond to ongoing pressing climate, environmental, resource, and social changes across the Arctic. Despite the many challenges, truly open, ambitious, and mutually empowering international scientific cooperation and partnership has never been more necessary. So, over the next 2 years, we will be coordinating the consultation and drafting process for the 4th International Conference on Arctic Research Planning, known as ICARP4, with renewed enthusiasm. Working with a broad range of partners and international organizations, this process will identify important research questions and priorities that cut across disciplines and systems, and which can offer new and innovative thinking and collaboration, and which are relevant for the next 10 years. This will culminate at our conference in Boulder, Colorado, USA in 2025. From Korea, we are honored to have on our International Steering Committee Dr. Hyung-Chul Shin, representing the Asian Forum for Polar Science, and Dr. Seong-Jung Kim, representing the Scientific Committee on Antarctic Research. Thanks to the work of the Korean Polar Research Institute, the Korean Maritime Institute, and others in universities and research centers, Korea is undoubtedly one of the most active, positive, and engaged contributors to international Arctic science. Within IASC, we greatly value COPRI's involvement and leadership, represented on our council by Dr. Song-Ho Kang. Your polar research vessel, the RV Arion, is an extremely capable and highly regarded platform for Arctic science. Your commitment to international partnership in the use of the vessel is a positive model of collaboration for others to follow. And I know that this year you have been celebrating an important event, the 20th anniversary of the establishment of the Korean Arctic Research Station, Dasan, in Ny-Ålesund, Svalbard. Korea is a valued member of the research community in Svalbard, making up one of the 10 countries with research facilities in this unique international research village. I send you many congratulations on the station's birthday and wish you many more in the future. Arctic science, all polar science, is difficult, expensive, and it can sometimes be risky. But if we are going to properly understand what is happening in the Arctic and the implications for the breadth and depth of change there and the effect on the rest of the world, then we have to commit to stepping up our engagement. Having strong international partners like Korea makes that job a little easier. Thank you. So I look forward to meeting Korean colleagues again soon at our annual meeting, the Arctic Science Summit Week in Vienna, Austria in February next year. Registration opened a couple of days ago and everyone is welcome. And in the meantime, I wish you all a very successful and productive conference. Thank you.
Thank you for the keynote speech. That was about why Arctic research must continue despite the difficulties and why all the stations are needed. And also, we heard some words of congratulatory and encouragement for Korea's efforts, and he also wished that we would all meet in Vienna next year. Thank you.
다음은
Next, we will go to the highlight of today's ceremony, which is our Vision Declaration ceremony for our Polar Vision. It will be a meaningful event where we announce and declare our master plan. We will invite the participants to the stage. If you're called up, please come up to the stage. First, Dr. Kim Yong-soo, who is the ship doctor of Araon and also medical staff in the Changbogo Station. And researcher Jeon Mi-sa, who is a female member of our King Sejong Station. Curator Yeom Chong-ah, who is a commentator of polar topics. And Lee Jun-yeok, who is a student of the Polar Ocean Academy, who will lead our future in this space. And Lee So-young, student of the Arctic Exploration Unit. Lastly, Kim Gi-won, scholarship student of the Korea Maritime and Ocean University. Please welcome them with a round of applause. We will start the declaration ceremony of our Polar Vision. Now, the icebreaker research ship has departed from the Tasan Arctic Station and is reaching the Pokport Seas after passing through the high seas of the Arctic. Now it is passing through Chukchi Sea, breaking through glaciers and moving forward. The maps are connecting to each other. Now the researcher icebreaker ship is going through Chukchi Station and passing through Bering Strait. And for the last piece of the puzzle, Minister Cho Seung-wan will take the stage. Ship Araon, which has departed from Changbogo Station from the Antarctic, and the icebreaker, which has departed from the Arctic, are now finally crossing paths in the Republic of Korea. Round of applause, please. Thank you. The world map upside down, which is Korea at the center, is now complete. With all of you here, for a leap into the future, we have established the plan and we'll chant the slogan together in closing. If I say, at the end of the earth, we dream of the future for becoming a leader country, Please raise up your right hand like this and say, "For the leader." Let's do it together then. At the ends of the earth, we dream of the future for a leading country. Please send a warm applause. Thank you, Minister and representative of people, for participating in this event. Minister, please stay back on the stage for the continuing award ceremony, and everyone else can go down the stage and go back to their seats.
자, 그럼 본
And next, as the final step of the grand opening, we will have the commendation ceremony. The 13th Youth Polar Essay Contest Grand Prix winner is Ryu Young-hyun from the Busan International High School. Please welcome Mr. Ryu with a big hand.
네, 제13회 청소
Yes, the Grand Prix of the 13th Youth Polar Essay Contest will be presented. Grand Prix. Yoo Young-hyun, second-year student from the Busan International High School. Your outstanding performance at the 13th Youth Polar Essay Contest, hosted by the MOF and organized by the Future of Polar Ocean Forum, is hereby honored with this award. December 5th, 2022, MOF Minister Cho Seung-hwan. Please give a warm round of applause. Mr. Liu will also be presented an opportunity to experience the Arctic Research Station. Which must be a very meaningful award for the winner. Thank you. Mr. Liu, please take your seat. And next, the first Polar Research Talent Development Scholarship Project winners are Lee Ye-rim from the School of Biological Sciences at Seoul National University and Yang Seung-hoon from the School of Environmental Science and Engineering at Post-Tech. Please come forward to the stage. First, Lee Ye-rim from the School of Biological Sciences at SNU. Certificate of Scholarship, Lee Ye-rim, School of Biological Sciences at SNU. You have been selected as the winner of the first Polar Research Talent Scholarship Project, and thus the Certificate of Commendation is presented. December 5th, 2022, Minister of Oceans and Fisheries, Cho Seung-hwan. Please give a warm round of applause. And next, Yang Seung-hoon from the School of Environmental Science and Engineering at Post-Tech will also be receiving his commendation. Certificate of Scholarship to Yang Seung-hoon from the School of Environmental Science and Engineering at Post-Tech. And now there will be a photo session with the minister.
앞으로 우리 극지 개발을 이끌어갈 또
The future polar development will be led by these future generation researchers. Please give another warm round of applause. Thank you. And now we will have a photo op with the honored guests of the grand opening. Those of you sitting on the first and second rows, please come forward to the stage. Everyone on the first row, if you look at the stage, you will see a yellow mark. So please stand at the yellow mark. And those of you on the second row, please stand behind the first row guests. And please make sure that your faces can be shown on the photo.
네, 기념사진 촬영을 위해서 마스크는 잠시
And please take off your facial masks for the photo.
네, 사이사이 서 주시면 네, 사진 촬영할 때 다 같이 또 잘 나올 수 있을 것 같습니다.
So please make sure that your faces can be seen on the photo, and look at the camera, please. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Could you raise your right fist? 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Please return to your seats.
네, 이것으로 협력의 시대 북극을
This ends the grand opening of the 2022 Arctic Partnership Week, pursuing the new partnership for the global Arctic. I'd like to thank all distinguished guests for joining us on site despite their busy schedules. I'd like to ask for your interest and participation in the next 5 days of the APW. I am Park Cheol-gyu. Thank you very much.
네, 안녕하세요. 국제신문사 박소영 국장입니다. 잠시 후 3시부터 극지 해설사 컨퍼런스를 진행하겠습니다. 앞에 일렬과 열이 많이 비어 있습니다. 앞으로 당겨 앉으셔도 좋고요. 뒤에 서 계시는 분들은 앞열로 오시면 감사하겠습니다. 네. 괜찮습니다. 네, 고맙습니다.